Now, we find that Act 3, Scene 4, our Jessica and Lorenzo has left. Just a minute. Hello. আমি একটু ব্যস্ত আছি, তুমি আমাকে 1.5 ঘন্টা বাদে ফোন করো, আমি একটা কাজে ব্যস্ত আছি। তো no, so Lorenzo has been given charge of the house, and Portia told him that he would go and spend this time, as long as Bassanio is not there, in a monastery, in a nunnery rather, in a nunnery, and Nerissa would be the only person who would keep contact with him, or rather would be his attending maid. Otherwise nobody would be able to see him. This would go on until Bassanio returns, and possibly with Antonio. Lorenzo is too happy to take charge of the house, and after Lorenzo and Jessica leaves, we find a different Portia. Portia is giving orders to one of his attending servants, who takes orders from him. That is Balthazar. Now Balthazar, as I have ever found that the honest true, so let me find thee still. So you have been always an honest servant to me. You have always been serving me as an honest servant, and I would want you to carry on serving me as an honest servant. Also this time, take the same letter and use thou all the endeavour of a man to speed to Padua. See thou render this unto my cousins, Dr. Bellario. There is very little time, so I have written a letter, and what you do is you take this letter and move as fast as you can with all your manly endeavors, strengths, powers. Move as fast as you can to another city called Padua, and there you give this to my cousin. He stays there. He is Dr. Bellario. Doctor means here doctor of law. Doctor of law means he is not a medical doctor. See, just as I am doctor of the philosophy of English. So similarly, he is doctor of law. So you go to he will be there, and look what notes and garments he doth give thee. Do one thing, you go to Padua, give this letter, and therein he will help you. He will give you some notes, some very important tips, and some written tips, and some dress. You bring them here. You bring them here with imagined speed. Imagined speed means as fast as you can. As fast as you can means with the speed imaginable by man. Unto the traject, to the common ferry which trades to Venice. Waste no time in words, but get thee gone, I shall be there before thee. After you reach Padua, after you get hold of the things, what you do is you take the ferry. Ferry means launch, steamer. You have your ferry service in on the Arab Sea, in the Arab Sea rather. We have in the Hooghly River in Kolkata. So ferry, you get hold of these ferry, and you a ferry, then you which goes to Venice, and you move to Venice, and I will also, and you move as fast as you can. He's not disclosing, she's not disclosing to him why he wants him to go to Venice, but there is some hidden reason which she doesn't disclose, and he says you move to Venice and I'll also move there as fast as I can, and I will reach there before you. Balthazar, being the good servant, says that, Madam, I go with all convenient speed. Convenient means appropriate speed, correct speed. I'll take the fastest possible speed to reach there. Come on, Nerissa, I have work in hand that you know not of. We will see our husbands before they think of us. Actually, the thing that she told Lorenzo about going to a nunnery was not true. That was to divert Lorenzo's attention. She says that she tells Nerissa. Nerissa is a confidant and follower. She tells Nerissa that, well, see, Nerissa, I have some work in hand that you know not of. You will see our husbands before they think of us. So, or rather, we will see our husbands before they think of us. So we will be speeding towards, as fast as possible, towards Venice, and we will be meeting our husbands before they can even think of us to be there. Shall they see us? They shall, Nerissa. And shall they see us? Yes, they will see us. They shall. But in such a habit that they shall think we are accomplished with that we lack. But in the appearance that they would see us, that would be most unexpected for them. That would be most unexpected for them. And the appearance, yes. In other words, we would put on such an appearance that we actually lack, that we don't have. That is a manly appearance. We would both put on a manly appearance. We would camouflage our own selves and put on a manly appearance. I hold thee any wager, when we both accoted like young men, I'll prove the prettier fellow of the two, and wear my dagger with the braver grace, and speak between the change of man and boy with a reed voice. Now he says that I'll hold any bet. Wager means any bet. That the moment they see us in our dress, in our appearance, accordant means as we are appear, and I will prove the prettier of the two. Prettier and more in the sense of more smarter, more handsome could be. More smart, handsome. That could be the thing, prettier. I'll wear my dagger with a braver grace. So, as a man, a brave man, I will have my dagger here. That means I am always strong enough to save myself. So I would have a dagger with brave grace, very manly appearance, and speak between the change of a man and voice with reed voice. I would speak in rather a broken tone. A reed voice means an unpleasant, high, and unclear voice. Normally, this happens particularly for boys when they change from man to, from boy to man, their voice starts breaking, voice starts becoming more heavy. So, the sweetness of that boyish sweetness of the voice goes. And that is what will happen. So I'll deliberately speak in that tone, a more high-pitched, unclear voice, unpleasant a bit. Just like as a man in his early adolescence, when he's turning from a boy to a man, speaks. And by doing that, I would actually hide my true voice. I would hide my true voice. Because I don't want them to recognize me. And turn 2 mincing steps into manly stride. Mincing steps means in a very affected gait. Gait means style of walking. Style of walking. In a very, very affected style of walking. Very apparently smart and affected style of walking. A more manly style I will walk. And speak of phrase like a fine bragging youth. And I would appear to be a very, very smart young man, more fond of hunting, and I would speak of phrase means male deer, which shows my liking for hunting. Like a more bragging youth who would like to brag his own strength, power, valor, and all these things. And tell quaint tales. Quaint tales means ingenious tales, more cunning tales. Very as if I'm such a very smart and handsome man that all ladies would like to fall in love with me. And I would appear in that very smart and handsome thing. I would brag about my power to attract ladies. Like a fine bragging youth, how honorable ladies sought my love, which I denying, they fell sick and died. How honorable youth always looked for my love. They always looked for my love. Because I'm such a handsome and very, very gallant young man. So they all looked forward to my love. But I denied them. I just did not accept them. I'm such a different type of a person. I just did not accept any lady. And they all died heartbroken. They all died heartbroken because they could not get their love. Fell sick and died. I could not do with all. Because I just couldn't help showing my love to everybody. I did not do it. Then I'll repent and wish for all that I had not killed them. And I would boast also that so many ladies had really showed my love towards me, shown how they were attracted towards me, and because I refused their love, they, what should I say, they died, sick, heartbroken. But, and I also felt bad. I would also tell that I have a heart. I felt bad how so many ladies had died for them, for me, and I wished that I would have not killed them. I wished that oh God, it would have been so good if I had not killed them. But, well, that happened. And I felt bad about that. How? Okay. And 20 to these puny lies I'll tell. So, and such weak lies, weak, but I would say it in such bragging manner that they would appear true. So, I would go on telling such weak lies, 20 of them I would tell, just to show what a smart and handsome person, just people would be attracted towards me, that I have a personality that really attracts people. That men shall swear I've discontinued school above a 12th month, and seeing my appearance, this boyish appearance, they would say, surely I have discontinued my school. I have discontinued I did not carry on my studies. I joined this work. I have within my mind 1,000 raw tricks of these bragging jacks, which I will practice. And I have all these 1,000 tricks in my mind. Like a bragging jack. Jack means these bragging jacks. Bragging means one who tells about himself. So many things. So like a bragging jacks, I would go on telling these. Jacks means a fellow. In a very, used more of in a contemptuous manner. Not in a very positive manner. Which I will practice. I will go on practicing all these and I will tell them, execute them there. Melissa was a bit astonished. Why? Shall we turn to men? That means you are telling that we would have to turn to men. Fie, what a question's that. If thou wert near a lewd interpreter, but come, I'll tell thee all my whole device. Yes, but he says that, well, what a question. If you were like a lewd interpreter, is actually he's using the word lewd means a more lascivious person, a very loose a person. You are trying to get the meaning from a girlish point of view. So that is very lascivious, showing your a more, what should I say, a more sexual interpretation of my story, if you are. But, well, no, it's not that. Come, I'll tell thee all my whole device. I'll tell you my plan. It's not that we intend anything bad. I will tell you all my plan. When I am in my coach, when I am in my coach, which stays for me at the park gate, when I once get up at the coach and run towards Venice as fast as I can, and now my coach is waiting there, so I won't waste any time. Instead, at the park gate. So instead, I'll tell you later. And therefore, haste away, for we must measure 20 miles today. And now let us run, because we don't have much time. And we must be covering 20 miles at least today. We must be covering 20 miles at least today. We don't have much time. This present scene is actually a pretty unimportant scene. So, as you all said that in your school they did it, I'll just go as fast as it is. Not a very important scene, but, well, more important is actually the Act 4, Scene 1, that is in the Court of Justice. That is the most important scene. So, well, actually what happens, during the, I hope you're being able to listen. Okay? You are listening, I hope. Okay. Okay. Now, in the medieval ages, that is before the Renaissance, before a few centuries before Shakespeare was writing his plays, a few centuries before Shakespeare wrote his plays, in the Middle Ages, there were these plays mainly consisted of mystery plays, morality plays. Mystery plays and morality plays. Mystery plays are actually plays about the lives of saints. And morality plays, and of course the miracle plays. Morality plays, as the name you can understand, are plays which would give you a good moral lesson. And of course there was those miracle plays. Miracle plays means actually some miracle cure by some saint, or some miracle cure by God, some sort of a miracle help rendered by God or some saint. About stories about that. Mainly stories about the praise of God and about good life and good teaching. These are heavy stories. So what they did was, in those days, in order to avoid boredom, what they did was, in between two heavy scenes, they often sandwiched a light and frivolous scene. A very light-hearted comic scene. Just to give a very, some sort of a cheap entertainment. Just to render some sort of a cheap entertainment to people. So that people can get some entertainment and they again get ready for the heavy story that is going to follow. This practice had continued till Shakespeare's days, and Shakespeare often did this. And this often happened when there are particularly two very heavy scenes. Scenes of utmost tension. In between two heavy scenes, often Shakespeare, just to give some sort of a comic relief, some sort of a entertainment, a very, very light entertainment, he often punched in a scene. This is, during the Middle Ages, this was called the interlude. This was called the interlude. And Shakespeare often used this type of an interlude. Very light, practically meaningless, to a certain extent lewd also, a lascivious scene, more sexually oriented, just to give some entertainment to the ordinary audience who are not very, very learned, who cannot always bear to take the very heavy scenes. And here also we have that very heavy scene, roughly just passed away is a casket scene, that is very heavy. And things, then of course the threat of Antonio's death, that is very heavy thought. And in the next act to start, we will have the scene that is what everybody is waiting for, that is the court scene, the trial scene. What can happen to Antonio's life? So that is also going to be a very, very heavy scene to come. That would be a very, very heavy scene to come. And in between that, we have a very light scene. Here we find Lancelot, who was the ex-servant, actually the clown and jester of the whole of this play, the comic character, and he was the ex-servant of Shylock, and now the present servant of Lorenzo. So he is the present servant of Lorenzo and Jessica. Yes, truly, for look you, the sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. Therefore I promise you, I fear you, I was always plain with you, and so now I speak my agitation of the matter. Therefore be of the good cheer, for truly I think you are damned. This I would give a more of a general reference. This is a more of a general reference. That, see, the sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. So whatever a sin the father does, that would fall on the children. I was always plain with you because I fear, I always tell you the truth. I speak my agitation of the matter, therefore be of good cheer, for truly I think you are damned. Being the daughter of a Jew, being the daughter of a non-Christian, you do not have any chance of heaven. You do not have any chance of heaven. So in that sense you are damned. There is but one hope in it that can do any good, and that is by kind of bastard hope neither. Only one hope that can help you. That can be some kind of a bastard hope. Bastard means one who doesn't know his father. His father is unknown. An illegitimate child. So you can have only one wish. And what is that hope? And what hope is that, I pray thee? What hope? Well, he says, marry you. you may partly hope that your father got you not, and you are not the Jew's daughter. The only hope is that you are not the daughter of your father. You are the illegitimate child of Shylock. You are the illegitimate child of Shylock. Only that can save you. Means your father is a Christian, which you don't know about, which is hidden to the world. That were a kind of bastard hope indeed. So the sins of my mother should be visited upon me. Well, Portia says that, well, I know that, I also understand that, and I feel that is a bad hope. That is also a bastard hope. Because in that sense, my mother being untrue to Shylock was also sinful. And in that sense, my mother's sin would fall on me. So I am again damned by my mother. Truly then I fear you are damned both by father and mother. Well, then true. Either you are damned by your father or by your mother. Both ways. Or rather either ways. Thus when I son Scylla, your father, I fall into Charybdis, your mother. Scylla is actually a nymph whom Amphitrite had transformed into a monster. And whenever any mariner, she lived in a cave, and whenever any mariner and ship passed that way, she caught them and ate them. So I am also in a, he's telling in a very funny way, well, see, I am also in a bad chance. Either your father is like Scylla the nymph, or I am a whirlpool. Charybdis is a whirlpool where ships get sunk. So if the mariners could save themselves from Scylla, it was, and they often fell into this Charybdis. So that is also an inescapable place. In that way, most of the mariners faced death, either from Scylla eating them up or falling into the whirlpool of Charybdis. So, which is your mother? So Scylla is your father. So I as your as their servant, I am either taken by Scylla or by Charybdis. In either way, both are sinners. Could be possibly both are sinners, and I coming in contact with them, I become also a sinner. So I cannot escape. I have to either be eaten up or get sunk. Well, you are gone both ways. So sorry. What I mean is that you cannot escape any of the ways. Either your father is like a monster, being a non-Christian, or your mother being untrue to your father is like Charybdis. So you are either eaten up, that is damned by Scylla, or you get sunk by Charybdis, your mother. Well, you are gone both ways. Jessica, I shall be saved by my husband. He hath made me a Christian. Jessica very proudly says, well, I'll be saved by my husband because before marriage, according to Christian law, my husband has turned me into a Christian. So, from the religious point of view, I am now a Christian. truly the more to blame thee. We were Christians, and now before, even as many as could well live one by another, this making of Christians will raise the price of hogs. Well, he says that, see, that is more to be blamed about. That is more to be blamed about. Now, already we were a great many number of Christians already existing before. Now you are adding to that Christian number. What will happen? The more people will turn into Christians, the more they will become pork eaters, because Jews do not eat pork. Jews do not touch pork. They hate the smell of pork religiously. For them, pork is something most unholy. But Christians eat pork, and so the moment we become Christians, hogs, we grow to be pork. You grow to be pork eaters, and in that way you raise the price of hogs. Hogs means pigs. We shall not shortly have a rasher on the coals for money, and soon we will buy. Rasher means bacon, the meat of a pig, of a hog. So soon it will happen that we won't have enough money for, or rather enough money to buy bacon to get them roasted over the coal. I'll tell my husband, Lancelot, what you say. Here he comes. So I'll tell my husband what you have said. I'll complain to my husband that you are telling me these things. And here he is coming. Lancelot, Lorenzo, I'll tell my husband, Lancelot, she's threatening her. In a joking tone, actually, in a jocular tone. Threatening her. Well, I'll tell my husband, and he is coming. I shall grow jealous of you shortly, Lancelot, if you thus get my wife into corners. So, actually, I told you, this is a very, very light scene, very, very light, nude scene rather. So, you are taking my wife and to a corner and talking, which makes me jealous. Normally, a lord of a house normally doesn't speak to the servant in this way. I shall answer that better to the Commonwealth. Well, Jessica, nay, you need not fear us, Lorenzo. Lancelot and I are out. He tells me flatly that there is no mercy for me in heaven because I am a Jew's daughter. So he says, well, you need not be afraid of me. He's telling me flatly that, well, there is no hope for me as I am a Jew's daughter. I am the daughter of a Jew. And he says, you are no good member of the Commonwealth, for in converting Jews to Christians, you raise the price of pork. And he says that, well, you are also no good Christian, member of the Commonwealth, because by turning a Jew into a Christian, you are raising the cost of pork. I'll answer that better to the Commonwealth than you can getting up of the Negro's belly, the more is with child by you, Lancelot. This is actually a very, very lewd remark. He's saying, well, I can answer my part to the Commonwealth, but you cannot. You have an illicit child from a black woman. So you have an illicit child from a black woman. It is much that the more should be more than reason. But if she be less than an honest woman, she is indeed more than I took her for. He's just jesting on these words of honesty and all these things. They are not very important scene in that way. Well, how every fool can play upon the word, and I think the best grace of need. Acha, one thing, Pew, did they do the full scene in details in class? In your class, was it done in details? Hello? I know, what I am saying is that was this scene done in details?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we finished this scene in school.
Yes, yes. I couldn't get you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay. I think what we can do is, for the time being today, we will stop here. We will stop here today because I've come from a very long drive and I'm a bit tired also. So we will finish off this scene the next day, and I'll go to the more important scene of the court scene. I'm more stressing on that scene. Okay.